Creating extraordinary success in business and life is absolutely possible. That means more income, more freedom, and more energy for what you value most without the hustle or burnout. I'm Laura Flood, certified success and high performance coach, CEO for over 30 years, and a multiple seven-figure entrepreneur. I've built a profitable, sustainable business while prioritizing my family, my health, and my happiness, and I'm here to help you do the same. This is the Redefining Success Podcast, where I'll share the strategies, tools, and the mindset shifts to help you grow with intention, live a life you love, and create lasting happiness, wealth, and freedom without losing yourself in the process. Let's dive in. You've said this to yourself 100 times. I'll be happy when I hit that revenue goal or when I close that deal. Things will be better when the team is finally in place, or I can relax when the house is paid off, or when the kids are older and things settle down. And then you hit that goal, and the happiness lasts about 48 hours, or sometimes less, before the next I'll be happy when takes its place. Here's what I know after 30 years of building businesses and coaching high achievers. The most successful people are often the ones caught in this trap. The same drive that got you here is the same wiring that makes it nearly impossible to actually arrive anywhere. It's so hard for high performers to stop running long enough to realize that you're already living inside a life that you used to dream about. So, this isn't a motivational speech about choosing happiness. This episode is about recognizing that the way you've been wired to chase is quietly costing you the one thing that you're working so hard to build, a life that you actually enjoy living. Today, we're going to talk about the I'll be happy when trap, why it happens, what it's actually costing you, and how to shift it without losing your drive. Because here's what I've learned over all the years. You don't have to choose between ambition and happiness, but you do have to stop postponing one for the other. So let's dive in. Let me tell you how I know this so well. I spent years, really years, operating this way. I would set a goal, I would work toward it with everything I had, I would hit the goal, and then almost immediately start thinking about what was next. The satisfaction was real, but it was so fast. It was like catching a breath before diving back under. In those early years of building my real estate business, success was measured by how many hours you were willing to work, and I was really good at it. I became a top producer very soon after I started. I sold over 1,800 homes. I built a team and a multi-million-dollar business. From the outside, it looked like a dream. It was impressive on paper, but here's what no one saw. I was constantly working, or I was thinking about work. Even when I wasn't at my desk, my mind was there. I was running numbers, planning the next move, chasing the next goal, and the milestones kept coming, but the happiness didn't stay. It would land for a moment, maybe a day, sometimes a couple of days, but then the next goal was already loading. The next target was already set, and I hadn't even stopped to acknowledge what I had just accomplished before I was reaching again. I remember a specific moment. I had just closed a massive deal. One of those deals that years earlier, I would have said, if I could just close something like this, I would be set. I would be happy, and I closed it. I remember sitting in my car afterward, and instead of celebrating, instead of feeling that joy that I promised myself, my first thought was, okay, what's next? And that was the moment that I realized something was off. It wasn't that my ambition was wrong, but it was off in the way that I was experiencing my own life. I was achieving everything that I said I wanted, and I wasn't letting myself feel any of it. I was always arriving and never pausing to enjoy it. And then when my husband and I decided to have kids, it really forced the question that I had been avoiding. I kept asking myself, could I be a great mom and still achieve all my goals? I really didn't want my income or my lifestyle to change. but I knew I couldn't keep doing it the way I had been. I was running on a treadmill and calling it success. So I made a decision that changed everything. My business was going to support my family and my life, not the other way around. And that decision wasn't just about time management or working less hours or setting better boundaries, although those things really came along too. It was deeper than that. It was about choosing to be present in the life that I was actually living, not the one that I was working towards, the one right in front of me. The dinner with my kids or the baseball game where I wasn't glued to my phone. Or it was the walk in the morning because I had the time and I chose to take it. I had to learn to stop deferring my happiness to some future version of my life that may or may not look the way I had imagined. And I had to start choosing it now. I had to start choosing happiness in the messy middle of the building and in the middle of that season that doesn't look like the after photo yet. In my chapter of Women Who Win, I wrote that happiness is a choice, not a destination. It's not a reward for hitting the goal. Happiness is a choice that you make today, in the middle of whatever season you're in, and again, every single day. And when I started making that choice consistently, everything shifted. I showed up differently. And when I did, the money, the opportunities, and the growth, they just came faster and so much easier. I wasn't working harder. I just wasn't chasing from a place of lack anymore. So let's break down what's actually happening here, because this isn't just about mindset. There's a pattern, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. So number one is the moving finish line. Every time you hit the goal, the bar moves. This isn't a character flaw. It's how us high achievers are wired. We're built to reach, and I really believe that that's a special gift. But if you don't recognize how this operates, you're going to spend your entire life arriving at places that you never stop long enough to enjoy. I see this with my clients all of the time. They hit six figures, and then they immediately set the target on 7. They hit 7, and then they're already planning 8. The revenue goal becomes a number on a spreadsheet that they pass through without ever pausing to say, I did that, and that matters. And the finish line doesn't just move with money, it moves with everything. When the team is in place, you'll want a bigger team. When the house is done, you'll want a different house. There will always be a next I'll be happy when. Always. Okay, number 2, the cost of when. Here's what most people miss. I'll be happy when isn't just delaying happiness. It's really teaching your brain that the present moment isn't enough. That your life right now, the messy, in progress, not quite there yet version, doesn't count. And that's a dangerous story to tell yourself on repeat. Because what happens is you start living in this constant state of almost. Almost there. I'm almost successful enough. And almost is a place where happiness doesn't live. It can't. Because you've already told yourself that today doesn't count, only the destination counts. And here's the part that's hard to hear. The destination that you're chasing, when you get there, it won't feel the way you think it will. Because you've trained yourself not to feel it. You've practiced skipping the arrival and jumping straight to the next goal. So when you actually hit that goal and you arrive, your body doesn't know how to stop and receive it. That's why someone can build an incredible business, have a beautiful family, achieve things that most people only dream of, and they still feel like something's missing. It's not because anything is missing. It's just that they've been practicing not yet for so long that already here, it just doesn't register. Number 3, the reframe. I'm happy and. So this is the shift. Not I'll be happy when, not I'm happy despite. The shift is I'm happy and I'm building. Because you can be deeply grateful for where you are right now, and you can still want more. those things can coexist together. Most high achievers, I find they feel like they have to choose. They have to either be content and therefore complacent, or they're driven and never really satisfied. But I think that's a false belief, and it's keeping you trapped. When you tell yourself, I'm happy and I'm building, it means that I'm not postponing my joy to some future version of my life. I'm choosing to feel the goodness of where I am right now and still going after what's next. But I'm going after it from a place of fullness, not lack, from a place of my life is already so good instead of my life will be good when. And that shift changes everything. It changes how you work, it changes how you lead, and how you show up in your relationships too. You make different decisions than someone who is building from not enough yet. I want to tell you about a client of mine. I won't use her name, but you'll recognize her if you've ever been where she is. She came to me with a business that most people would envy. She had consistent revenue, a strong reputation, and really an amazing team. By every external measure, she had made it. But when we had started working together, the first thing she said to me was, I don't know why I'm not happier. She had hit every goal that she set for herself 3 years earlier. She had the income and the lifestyle that she always wanted. And instead of feeling fulfilled, she felt restless and anxious, like she was already behind on the next thing. Except she couldn't even tell me what the next thing was. She just knew that she hadn't arrived yet, even though she really had. So we started unpacking it, and what we found was this. She had spent so many years practicing I'll be happy when, that her brain had literally skipped over the arrival. She didn't know how to be in the life that she had already built. She was running on this track that didn't have a finish line, and she was exhausted. Not really from the work, but from all that chasing. So we started working on doing less of that constant striving and really just focusing on one simple practice. Before she started her day, she had to write down 3 things that were already true that her past self would have been thrilled about. So, not goals or general gratitude, she wrote down specific things that she had already achieved that she stopped seeing because she was always looking ahead. And after the first week, she called me and said, I didn't realize how much I had until I made myself look at it. And that's the thing. When you're always looking forward, you lose the ability to see what's right in front of you. And the irony is, the things that you're chasing, they don't always feel good when you get them because you haven't practiced receiving. Within a few months of making that shift, her revenue went up. She was actually working less, but she was making decisions from a place of abundance instead of lack. She was leading her team with clarity instead of all of this urgency, and she said she was present with her family in a way she hadn't been for years. She told me, I finally feel like I'm living my life instead of waiting for it to start. And that's the shift. And it doesn't require changing your business. You just need to change your relationship with the moment that you're in. Here's what I want you to do today. Not next week or when things finally slow down. I really want you to take a few minutes to do this today. It's called the Right Now Inventory, and it's simple. Before you start your day, before you check your phone or open your laptop and start responding to everyone else's priorities, I really want you to take a few minutes and write down 3 things that are already true that the past you would have been thrilled about. Just like my client did, write down specific things that you've already achieved or that you've become that you most likely stopped seeing because you were always looking ahead. Maybe it's the revenue that you're generating now that 5 years ago felt impossible, or the team that you have in place when you used to do everything yourself. It might be the fact that your kids see how you show up in this world, or maybe even the house or your marriage, or the reputation you spent years building. I want you to write down 3 things every morning before you start chasing. And here's why this matters. This isn't about feeling good. This is a reality check. Because when you don't do this, your brain defaults to not enough yet. And then that's its baseline. That's the story it runs on. The right now inventory, it really interrupts that pattern and it forces you to see what's actually true. That you're already living inside goals that you used to dream about. You just forgot to notice. Try it. 3 things every morning for 1 week and watch what shifts. Not just in how you feel, but how you work and how you lead. You're going to notice a difference in the decisions that you make because a person who starts their day from, my life is already good, makes very different choices than a person who starts their day from, I'm not there yet. Let me leave you with this. The life that you're working so hard to build, you might already be in it. You might be sitting inside it right now, and you're so focused on what's next that you can't see it. And that doesn't mean you stop building or you stop striving. It means that you stop postponing your happiness to a version of your life that may or may not look the way you think it will. And you start choosing the happiness now. Because there is no when, there's only now. And right now is the only place that happiness actually lives. If this resonated with you, this is the exact work that we go deeper into inside the Redefining Success Reset. Recognizing the pattern is the first step, but rewiring it, it really takes practice. And the Redefining Success Reset walks you through the framework to shift how you operate, how you think, and how you build. So you're not just achieving more, you're actually enjoying it. And if you want a more personalized approach, eyes on your specific business, your patterns, or learn more about what your next best steps will be, I take on a limited number of one-to-one coaching clients. So this is for the person who is ready to stop running on the treadmill and start building a life that feels as good on the inside as it looks on the outside. You'll find links to both in the show notes, or you can visit lauraflood.com to learn more. Until next time, remember, success isn't just about what you achieve. It's about who you become along the way. Stay happy, healthy, and wealthy. I'll see you next week.